Fashion Trivia Speed Round 8. Track how many questions you can get right. Question: which type of synthetic leather alternative is made from pineapple leaves? The answer is Pinatex. Fun fact: Pinatex offers a sustainable alternative to animal leather. Question: Paris Fashion Week takes place how many times a year for the major fashion seasons? The answer is twice. Fun fact: the event features separate haute couture and ready-to-wear shows, drawing designers and editors from around the globe. Question: in 1997, which supermodel made headlines by wearing a 15-foot angel wing ensemble at a now iconic show? The answer is Tyra Banks. Fun fact: the Victoria's Secret fashion show helped turn models into international celebrities in the 2000s. Question: which luxurious fabric is produced by worms that spin cocoons of fine thread? The answer is silk. Fun fact: the secret of silk production was so prized in ancient China that smuggling silkworms was punishable by death. Question: which Scottish textile is woven with small, rough wool fibers and often features a check pattern? The answer is tweed. Fun fact: tweed originated in the Scottish Highlands and was favored by hunters and British royalty alike. Question: which Victorian undergarment gave women an exaggerated hourglass shape? The answer is corset. Fun fact: some corsets were so tight they led to fainting spells, hence the popularity of fainting couches. Question: which 1985 sneaker collaboration between Nike and an NBA rookie changed sneaker culture forever? The answer is Air Jordan 1. Fun fact: the NBA banned the original red and black Jordans, only fueling their popularity. Question: which classic shoe, first produced in 1917, was adopted by basketball players and punk rockers alike? The answer is Converse Chuck Taylor All-Stars. Fun fact: named after a basketball player, they remain one of the world's best-selling shoes over a century later. Question: which French fashion house's signature color is a distinctive orange hue? The answer is Hermes. Fun fact: the color came about by accident during World War II, when the brand had to use leftover orange packaging materials. Question: which supermodel was nicknamed the Body? The answer is Elle Macpherson. Fun fact: she earned the nickname after appearing on 5 consecutive Sports Illustrated covers. Question: which British model was discovered at JFK Airport at age 14 and later dated Johnny Depp? The answer is Kate Moss. Fun fact: Moss redefined beauty standards in the 1990s, ushering in a grunge-inspired aesthetic. Question: which costume designer created Marilyn Monroe's iconic white dress in The 7-Year Itch? The answer is William Travilla. Fun fact: the scene where the dress billows up became one of cinema's most recognizable moments. Question: which 2006 film about a high-fashion magazine was inspired by real-life editor Anna Wintour? The answer is The Devil Wears Prada. Fun fact: Meryl Streep modeled her icy performance on Wintour, but added her own quiet intensity. Question: who designed the elaborate costumes for Black Panther, earning an Oscar for her work? The answer is Ruth E. Carter. Fun fact: Carter's designs blended futuristic Afrofuturism with traditional African textiles. Question: which photographer's portraits of 1990s supermodels helped define fashion's glamorous decade? The answer is Herb Ritts. Fun fact: Ritts shot for Vogue, Vanity Fair, and Madonna's True Blue album cover. Question: which photographer is known for surreal, fairy tale-like fashion editorials? The answer is Tim Walker. Fun fact: Walker often builds elaborate life-size sets by hand instead of relying on digital effects. Question: which iconic fashion photographer revolutionized motion in fashion photography? The answer is Richard Avedon. Fun fact: Avedon broke from stiff studio portraits, capturing models laughing, jumping, and moving. Question: which Dior fragrance was famously worn by actor Johnny Depp in its ad campaigns? The answer is Dior Sauvage. Fun fact: the scent's rugged image was designed to capture raw masculinity with bergamot and ambergris. Question: which Italian brand's signature scent, light blue, evokes Mediterranean summers? The answer is Dolce & Gabbana. Fun fact: the fragrance's campaign featuring David Gandy helped cement its status as an enduring classic. Question: which designer sparked outrage with corsets for men and cone bras for Madonna? The answer is Jean-Paul Gaultier. Fun fact: Gaultier's rebellious designs blurred gender lines and redefined haute couture. Question: which fashion house caused an uproar by sending models down the runway in literal trash bags? The answer is Balenciaga. Fun fact: Balenciaga's 2022 trash bag pouch retailed for nearly $1,800, proving fashion irony sells. Question: which Indian garment consists of a long piece of fabric draped around the body, often over a petticoat? The answer is sari. Fun fact: the sari has been worn for thousands of years and can be draped in over 80 styles. Question: which Scottish garment is a knee-length skirt traditionally worn by men? The answer is kilt. Fun fact: kilts are made of tartan fabric and symbolize Scottish heritage. Question: which Chinese dress, also called qi pao, became popular in the 1920s Shanghai? The answer is cheongsam. Fun fact: the cheongsam is a form-fitting dress with a high collar and side slits. Question: which ancient civilization is known for wearing togas as a symbol of citizenship? The answer is Rome. Fun fact: togas were reserved for male Roman citizens and indicated social status. Thanks for watching. Comment below to let us know how many questions you got right. If you like this video, tap like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share with friends. See you in the next video.